One news story has dominated all others last week: Netflix quarterly results. As Puck's Matthew Maloney pointed out, traditional studios with their diversified business and troves of IP are suddenly better positioned. He also reiterated that the binge viewing strategy that has always been at the core of Netflix's offering is no longer the alternative viewing experience it once was. The binge model is not ideal for retaining subscribers, and Netflix still insists that all-at-once strategy doesn't impact subscriber churn. But who believes that? As HBO Casey Bloys noted a few months ago, you leave a lot on the table when you release all episodes at once. Well, I totally agree with that. At the end of the day, I think there's going to be some radical rethinking within Netflix. I mean, they pioneered the way forward with a lot of these early ideas around the different types of content that were financed and ways of viewing. You know, they were one of the first ones out there with a successful recommendations algorithm. They're a really good technology company. But this idea of binging content, I can imagine it works for certain types of shows or stuff that's already been published. But there is an issue here. You know, I'm a big believer that once you've got 2 or 3 episodes into a series and you continue to watch after that, you know, that's anything between 2.5 to 3 hours worth of concentration. And the human mind is simply not programmed to that. And there is something to say about the Saturday matinee format. You know, the ending would always be a cliffhanger and you'd be chomping on the bit to see what would happen next week. And, you know, these cliffhangers do occur within Netflix's programming, but if you can binge straight into the next episode, it kind of defeats the point. Anyway, the important thing here is that, yes, I think there are some habits that Netflix needs to move to, and I'm pretty sure what we'll see them doing based off the success of looking at shows like Mandalorian and everything else, is starting to move back to more of the sequential model of release over weeks instead of instantly. But there has been one other massive change to its strategy that Netflix co-founder and CEO Reed Hastings revealed last week. As The Verge reported, the Netflix CEO now says he's open to a cheaper ad-supported plan. Hastings admits that introducing an ad-supported tier would be a big change in thinking for the company, saying that he's historically been against the complexity of advertising and a big fan of simplicity of subscription. Hastings now pitches the idea of an ad-supported tier as something that makes a lot of sense for consumers who would like to have a lower price and are advertising tolerant. Apparently, the company is now looking into the option and trying to figure it out over the next year or two. Well, that's huge news. If you really think about it, an ad-supported model probably would make a lot of sense for something like Netflix that has the power, and they don't lack the technical or programming capabilities to adopt a programmatic system for an ad exchange. I mean, simply, the smartest people on the planet probably work at Netflix in their technical department. So technically, it's not a challenge. Measurement-wise, it then starts to bring in the whole, how do you measure in streaming? And this probably brings back the relevance of companies like Nielsen, unless Netflix goes ahead and invents its own Nielsen in the future. Anyway, transparency and advertising must go hand in hand because you have to reward the people that put the ad funds in, or the sponsors, should I say. And if they can't see how many times their ads are flushed in front of eyeballs, it's going to be a big turnoff. So what's happening on the measurement front? Well, you know, we'll have to wait and see. There could be a new ad network out there, just like Amazon Prime or the Amazon group have been doing. According to Deadline Hollywood, Hastings also said one way to increase the price spread is advertising on the lower end plans and to have lower prices with advertising. So it's something we're looking at now. Think of us as quite open to offering even lower prices with advertising as a consumer choice. And asked about the task of weaving in advertising to the company's strategy, Hastings admitted, it's not a short-term fix because once you start offering a lower priced plan with ads as options, some consumers take it. And we've got a big install base that probably are quite happy with where they are now. It would phase in over a couple of years in terms of being material volume. Well, yes. What does that mean? Essentially, you know, if Netflix swapped to the ad model overnight, how much of its subscriber base would suddenly switch out of the expensive $20 plan and go to an ad-supported model? And what impact would that have on Netflix's bottom line? If they were to institute it too quickly, there would be the risk that all of a sudden their revenues would drop even further because so many people switch to the cheaper ad-supported version, and the ads might take time to build up. So anyway, this phased rolling out is probably quite a smart thing to do. Technological evolution also has played a role in the company's shift. The online ad market has advanced, and now you don't have to incorporate all the information about people that you used to. So we can be a straight publisher and have other people do all the fancy ad matching and integrate all the data about people so that we can stay out of that and really be focused on our members, creating that great experience, getting monetized in a first-class way by a range of companies who offer that service. Well, that's interesting. So basically, Reed Hastings is saying here that that the idea of them beginning to harvest their own audience data might be something that they would be adding to the service. This idea of demographics and targeting is something that's very important for any ad platform. And it's interesting that Netflix seems to be stating here that they're not going to be interested in developing that. They want to focus on the user experience and leave it to third parties to do that segmentation. That's very interesting. The protocol website picked up on some of the key points about Netflix hastily announced plans for the addition of an ad-funded customer offering. Netflix won't force anyone to watch ads. The company will be adding a new, cheaper service plan that includes advertising, but will also keep ad-free plans for its existing subscribers. Ads are really about international growth, and Netflix has seemingly hit a ceiling in North America, where it lost over 640,000 subscribers in Q1. However, a more worrisome aspect of this week's earnings report was a drop in subscribers in every global market, save where it signed up a modest 1 million new customers. The company is now looking to build out local ad sales teams in each and every one of its markets, but instead rely on third parties to facilitate ad sales and targeting. We have long been highlighting the huge significance ad-funded content has begun to play in the streaming video market, and now Netflix are set to follow the lead set by their major international streaming rivals. As Matthew Baloney put it, the new thinking, the thinking that completely changed the calculus in executive suites, is that nobody is reaching subscriber Shangri-La without either an ad-supported tier or a free ad-supported service. But while AVOD's importance continues to grow, it's not necessarily the only path streaming platforms will follow as they look to grow their global user base. The coming few years will no doubt see some consolidation of the many choices currently available to viewers. And as Matthew Baloney put it, some of these services need to go away or merge or reducing competition. He also picked up on another change to the market that must surely be inevitable, offering the consumers bundled content. Soon, the viewer may find him or herself with a range of platforms, apps, or channels to choose from, with many offering regular installments of their key content once a week. Does that sound familiar? As we keep on saying, the more things change at Groovy, the more things stay the same. That's all for this week. Remember, we publish both to LinkedIn and to YouTube. Please like and subscribe and share this content far and wide. It'd be great for everyone to see it. This is important news. And really, it signifies a very important change for the industry. Thanks very much, and that's all for this week. Goodbye.